And you mentioned your book, Choose FI, your blueprint to financial independence. Tell us a little bit about the book, and what people can take away from the book as they read it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think so much personal finance, and I'll pick on Dave Ramsey because he's kind of the public figure that most people know, and some people love him and some people hate him, and whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I think like he's pretty a common example of, here's what I did, follow these 7 steps, and one size fits all. And kind of what we did is, we said like, these are the principles that we think you need to know. So, if you spend less than you earn, that's a huge principle. How like where do most people spend their money? So how do you get that high savings rate? How do you build your income? How do you build a network? How do you obtain skills without going into debt? All those types of things. But there's no one path. So what we did is, I'm a big fan, and actually, this is my microphone stand I used to build up. It's a really big book by Tim Ferriss. It's called Tools of Titans. So, if you're not familiar with Tim Ferriss, he interviews just people that are ultra successful from all areas of life, and then he turned it into this book. And I'm a huge fan of his podcast. But then I bought the book and I read it, and I got value out of it. And I was like, that's what I want to do with this fire community. So I wanted to start a podcast and talk to all these different people and get different stories and different tactics. Again, the principles are the same, but the tactics are very different person to person, and turn that into a book. And then, so the two guys, they started the Choose FI podcast just a couple of months ahead of what I was going to do. And so I started listening and I liked what they were doing. So I reached out and I said, this was my idea. What do you think about turning it into a book? So we took all these different stories, people who are kind of thought leaders in the fire space. And then we kind of organized it into, basically you have 3 levers. You can spend less, earn more, and invest better. And so each is a section of the book. And so we dive into, the tactics with that. But then the first section is what we talked about, is changing your mindset. And then the last section is, what do you do after achieving financial independence? So we tried to put all of that together into a book that basically anybody could pick up and find somebody they're going to relate to. And again, the principles are going to be pretty constant, but the tactics are going to be very different. So they can kind of, choose your own adventure.